In my work, I think about really three things: teaching, learning, and leadership. And I see them all interconnected. But, I want to just share some thoughts and ideas on, what are those attributes that really define effective leaders? What are those things that effective leaders do that can really bring about change? So I'm going to highlight 12. So let's start with number 1, shared vision. An attribute of an effective leader is creating a strong shared vision. That vision is not unilaterally developed. It has to do with teachers, administrators, students, and parents. For a vision to actually translate into action, it has to be shared. People have to feel a piece of it. Number 2, effective leaders set a specific direction. Now, how you get to the end, there's a lot of leeway, but that direction is, why are we doing this? How will we do it? And what criteria will be utilized to determine if we're successful or not? A direction helps keep people on the same focus. Great leaders don't tell people what to do. They take them where they need to be. Number 3, effective leaders establish boundaries. We could talk about innovation, transformation, the latest fad, trend, whatever, but there has to be boundaries. And those boundaries are really established by what the research has informed us as to what works best and the evidence that we need to utilize to determine if the change is successful. Number 4, effective leaders focus on intrinsic motivation as opposed to extrinsic. If you've read Drive by Dan Pink, we know that extrinsic rewards, carrots and sticks, if then, don't really work. They might work in the short term, but they don't sustain change. The best leaders put their people in a position to be successful. They put them in a position to see the value in change instead of dictating and demanding that they do something. Intrinsic really is the pathway to lasting change. Number 5, the best leaders always remember that they're a teacher. They're always a teacher at heart. And when we think about leading change, it's those leaders that are able to teach, to coach, to facilitate, to be that guide on the side, everything that we expect in a classroom. So, when we think about those attributes of effective leaders, it's harnessing that inner teacher, never forgetting, where our roots originally come from. Number 6, own up to mistakes. No one is perfect. And if leaders come off that they are perfect, they're not going to really build that rapport and those relationships with those who they serve. Owning up to mistakes, hey, we all make them. The whole key is owning up to the mistake and making sure we don't make that same mistake again. Number 7, the best leaders model the way. Don't ask others to do what you are not willing to or have not done yourself. And that really is being that example. We hear it all the time, leading by example, but it is so hard. The best leaders model the way. Number 8, the best leaders build capacity at all levels. Leadership is not a team sport. We hear, there's no I in team. We get that. But when we think about building capacity, it's putting people in a position to be leaders themselves. Leadership is not about position, title, or power. It's about action. The best leaders delegate. They put that responsibility. They trust. They build those powerful relationships. Modeling is key. Number 9, the best leaders subdue fear. If people are afraid of change, you're not going to really be able to reach the outcomes that are set forth in the vision. As Zig Ziglar says, fear, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The best leaders create the conditions for those who they serve and work with to face everything and rise. Number 10, the best leaders focus on system thinking and strategy. It's not about one classroom, one school, or even just the district. It's about looking at that bigger picture. The best leaders focus on how will the actions of him or herself, his or her staff, impact the greater common good, moving beyond the school or beyond the organization. Number 11, the best leaders are observant. They're observant so that the elephant in the room doesn't wreak havoc, so that there isn't that 800-pound gorilla that really blinds us from our goals and outcomes that are at hand. So the best leaders are observant, and not just observant. They readily act. They don't sit back, they're not passive, but they're active. Yes, they deal with consensus, collaboration, shared decision making, but observant leaders know when to step in and not let the naysayers, antagonists, or something else derail the change process. And finally, number 12, the best leaders focus on the process. Leadership change is not an event. It is a process. It takes time. You have to have patience. Yes, you might have short-term goals and short-term wins, but it's looking beyond that. It's looking at, hey, where do I want to be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? So those are just some 12 attributes of effective leaders. I'm sure there's many, many more. But hopefully this will be a conversation starter for you to share. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Or what else should we be talking about? Keep making a difference, everyone. Until next time.